It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, and my very special guest, live from Saudi Arabia, Jafar Al-Shayeb. And, you know, we have a lot in common with Saudi Arabia here in Arizona because we share a very similar climate. It's hot and it's dry. So we, you know, and we're in the same northern hemisphere, so we kind of get an idea of the seasons and when they're, you know, waging war or things are happening in the street, you know, we know what 110 degrees is. We know what 120 degrees is. So we're getting into the part right now to where it's starting to heat up. I mean, we're having nice cool days today here, but, you know, as it starts to get hot, you know, I wonder how that changes the mood of the people too, and certainly, you know, water is an issue, and a lot of you know, power and energy and keeping people cool and not get hot under the collar. But my real concern is that what happens when energy isn't an issue anymore. Sooner or later, that's going to happen. Sooner or later, they're going to open the back end fields in Montana and the Dakotas here in the United States. Sooner or later, they're going to increase offshore drilling. Sooner or later, Alaska is going to be explored more. Sooner or later, the oil need from the Middle East is going to diminish because of change in political winds here, because of war, because of something. And as that happens, what should our relationship be with Saudi Arabia then?
Well, I believe Saudi Arabia is a strategic ally to the United States, not only because of oil. Oil is the main reason, but I think there are other factors which are involved in this strategic alliance.
Alliance for what?
Oil will be there for... They estimated at least for the next half a century or so. I hope it's less than that, but this is the expectations. Now, Saudi Arabia, still, there are many, many opportunities for different international companies to invest and to work in Saudi Arabia in different areas and different fields. Besides this international trade, Saudi Arabia strategic role in the Muslim world and the Middle Eastern countries are very important to the West as a stabilizer in this region here. Also, there are many other issues related to the location, related to the communication that has been created between the American and Saudi Arabians for the last 60 years or so, 70 years now. So all these factors, I believe, will affect the future relations between Saudi Arabia and the United States. It will be difficult for any analyst to find Saudi Arabia changing or the United States changing its relations with the Saudis.
Oh, no, I agree. There is enormous weight, forces, influence in making sure that the United States government and the current government of Saudi Arabia are tight. We have complete understanding of that. The thing is that if we take away the energy issue, which in my estimation, through technology or just individuals here in Arizona, you know, we got sun. We got plenty of it. You know, if that gets to the point to where we no longer have that as an issue, I'm wanting to make sure that we have a more diverse basis for us to have a peaceful relationship with Saudi Arabia, and you're not just abandoned by the people, or the people are abandoned in their free exchange of just communication from 14-year-olds here with 14-year-olds there. Because the one demographic that we're looking at is that the average age is in the 20s, We have a third of the population in the Middle East is under 15. I mean, this can't go unnoticed. These people are getting their information from each other, and for the first in human history, the people are able to vet whatever it is that's communicated to them from their government and see if they're lying or not. And oftentimes they are. So you have people in the streets. Being an elected official there, I'm wondering, what side are you able to dance on the fence? Which line are you're more associated with the government or the people, or you're trying to play both sides? I mean, what position are you taking?
Well, I'm trying to play both sides. In fact, because I'm an elected official here, elections in Saudi Arabia are very rare. The municipal election that took place in 2005 was the first public election we had here. And hopefully this year we have the second term election. And people here, they are demanding for more elections to take place on different levels, like a parliament or a municipal or a consultative council, which are now appointed. By the way, the municipal councils, 50% of them are elected only. The other 50% are appointed by the government. So I'm defending people's right, especially in this area. I'm fighting for public services in my city and pushing for also reform on the social side and political side as well. I'm a member of a human rights organization here in Saudi Arabia.
Well, this is one thing that I want to ask you, Jafar. You got in an important part that I wanted to make sure we got out. Is that when you say you're fighting for, I mean, you get fighting to a certain point, you wind up in jail. So I'm wondering, you're advocating for them, you're making, but you can't really go too far outside of what the kingdom there will allow, or you wind up dead or arrested. So I understand this, but it's glad that you have someone there. But I'm looking for. Let me give you an example. Here in the U.S., we'll see things like, women can't drive. Well, I'm like, so it's not my women. I don't care. It's your country. Do whatever you want. I don't know why we should have some kind of any influence based on whether women drive or not. Then we have the king comes back from an operation. He's like, here's $90-something billion we're going to distribute out to the people, kind of quiet that down a little bit. Then they're talking about they're going to, kind of liberalize a lot of the laws and so on. All this is good from the influence of the people there. I don't see how we should have any influence in that or dictate to Saudi Arabia what they should or shouldn't do. So I just let that go. But the people insisting on them having more access to information or services or be able to provide for their own families with whatever job they want or commerce or open a business or whatever. So I'm just going, these are the kind of issues that are forcing change in Saudi Arabia. Forget us, forget the West, forget Europe, I want to know what it is that the people there are taking to the streets demanding. And you talk about democracy, and I'm going, well, that has a big definition. So when we come back from the break, we're going to go ahead and get a unique perspective from someone that knows. Jafar Al-Shayeb, he is a writer, he is an elected official there, and a human rights advocate. Is going to help us understand what it is that the people there are advocating for, because he represents them. We'll be right back.